Welcome back to AP World History. We're looking at the spread of Islam into northern and central Africa. We were talking about the Mali and the Songhai uh, kingdoms that are established, um, which are going to be important kingdoms for Islam because they will embrace that. Um and it will dominate their society. They will trade extensively with the Middle East. Salt is a valuable commodity that comes out of this area. One of the reasons that there is this area seems to be somewhat isolated is because of the Sahara Desert. It's quite a barrier to cross in order to get to the settled areas. The architecture of Mali, they use mud created and dried, and this is the construction material in this area. In the savannah area, there's not a great number of trees. Salt was an important commodity mined in the Sahara, and slabs of it were loaded onto camels and sent elsewhere in the Mediterranean and the Middle East. Um, so it's at one time salt was more valuable than gold. Off to Timbuktu. Well, it certainly was an important cultural center and also trading center in Central Africa. Uh, as the Mali declined, the kingdom of Songhai will emerge in 1370. The capital of Go in the Niger River, and you notice that these kingdoms are located near major waterways, which is the Niger River. From 1464 to 1492, Sunni Ali forged a powerful empire for the Songhai dynasty or kingdom. He captures Timbuktu and Janneh, which will become centers of trade and commerce. Uh, Sunni Ali was a Muslim, and his descendants or successors will continue the faith. Um, in Africa, there's sort of a strange blend between Islamic and pagan customs. Uh, the Islamic faith is not quite as strict as you would find in the Middle East. Men and women mix freely. Women were allowed in public without veils. Certain pagan practices that had continued previous to Islam is allowed to continue. This shows the song Hey Songhai dynasty or empire, Janneh and Timbuktu, Goa. A major Islamic empires of Africa, sort of an overlay of that. Picture of Sunni Ali, and he was will come to an end in 1492. Strangely enough, the same year that Columbus sailed to the Americas. Slavery was tolerated in the Islamic society. Uh, Millions of slaves were sent to the Middle East and the Mediterranean area. They were a valuable commodity. It seemed as though more women were sent than men. More African men will be sent to the Americas than African women. Muslims viewed slavery as a process of conversion. And so, even when you became a Muslim, it didn't necessarily guarantee that you would be free. And it's true in Christianity as well as in Islamic faith. Uh, Slaves were used in a variety of domestic roles. They were also laborers, soldiers, administrators. It's estimated that this trade between Central Africa and the Middle East, about 4.8 million. There's no way to know for sure, but that's what they estimated. The slave trade extended over about 700 years. These were a picture of slave traders. African tribes conquering their enemies would then take them captive and sell them to Arab traders, or Arab themselves would raid villages. This shows some of the slave trade in northern and central Africa and along the eastern coast of Africa in Mogadishu and Zanzibar on the east coast. The Islamic faith will spread to Swahili coast or East Africa. Um, a string of Islamic ports dotted the East African coast. The Islamic faith, however, did not penetrate much into the interior. It was mostly a coastal religion. So the pagan practices continued in the interior. Mogadishu, Zanzibar, certainly important ports uh, uh, in terms of commerce and trade. Ivory, gold, iron, slaves were exported to other Muslim ports. Muslim rulers and merchants were the elite in these scattered posts or ports. This shows Swahili coast along, see the island of Madagascar there. And to the north, you'll see Ethiopia and modern day in Somalia. But it never really made much inroads into the interior of Central Africa. And we'll stop right there.